Proverbs 19:21 simply says, you can have all your plans, you can have all the things, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails, not your purpose. So we want to make sure that you understand that you're being led by Holy Spirit, right? So ask yourself how your talents and your dreams might serve a greater good. That's a question you ask. How does my talents and my dreams serve a greater good? This is supposed to be something that adds value to someone else's life because I know that I'm valuable. So let me tell you something that I know that maybe you don't. That increasing your mental health is so important, but there are some things that we may not always know when it comes to our purpose. And when we are not aware of our purpose, it could actually affect our mental health. When you're living a purpose-driven life, it actually reduces stress and anxiety and causes us to feel like we're having a more fulfilling life. So if you be waking up and you're like, I don't like my life, I don't like what's happening, it could be a possibility that you are not actually living your purpose-driven life. So today, as we talk about optimum living, we're going to dive into that pillar that we call purpose-driven living. Let's get into it. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Let's get into it, okay? It's really important that we understand that all of us have a purpose. The very beautiful design of you and why you were put here in the earth. And so some of us may know our purpose, some of us may not, but living from the pillar of purpose-driven living is really important according to what God has designed. So what exactly is purpose-driven living? It is simple. It is living your life from the mission that God has given you in the purpose of what he wants you to do. So it's a mission-driven living. Yeah, I said it, mission-driven living. And it's pursuing it passionately. I know that when you understand your purpose, you begin to live your life from a place where this is my mission. I know this is the thing I'm supposed to do. So let me pause before I go a little bit ahead of myself to help someone who may be asking a question like, what happens if you know your purpose, but you don't know your purpose? You go back and forth. I'm going to get into how you can discover your purpose. But for those of you who do know your purpose, I want you to make sure that you have the statement written down. I want to make sure that you have your life aligned with what it is so that the mission in your life, meaning that statement, my mission in life, my purpose in life is this. When you're doing that, it helps you to make decisions according to your purpose. It helps you to say no to things that are not in your purpose, right? So then you're not wasting time. You actually won't just be going back to school because I want to get another certification or whatever it is. You will be moving in a place of understanding that this is a mission for my life. Gifts are different than purpose. Your purpose will include your gifts, but how many of us have a lot of gifts in life? So I don't want you to get that confused when we're talking about purpose. It is a thing that you could do so easy that you don't even understand that it is a part of your purpose. And for those of you who don't know, we're going to get into that. So keep watching, keep listening, and make sure that you don't skip over anything. When we are living from a place of purpose, it's so fulfilling. I know most people are looking for what we call happiness, and there are moments where you have overwhelming emotional happiness, but when you're living a purpose-driven life, it's deeper. It's the reason when you get up in the morning, you want to get up in the morning. You want to keep moving. I know that a part of my purpose or mission in life had to do with being a mom. That is a part of the purpose. That is not my whole purpose, right? So, in that place, the role that I was able to play in the purpose of being a mom, I know that another role in my purpose that I got to play, hear what I'm saying to you? Roles, allowed me to be a wife. I was able to get married to someone, and we were able to build and create and have dominion and multiply and do the things that God wanted us to do. When I started a business, and this is a fun story about purpose driven. When I was in a place where I started my first business, my actual first business over 20 years ago, I had a boutique. I was the founder of a boutique called S&D Fashions Design Unlimited. Why you got such a long name? Because you don't know much. Anyway, don't judge me. In the place of starting that business, I started it from passion. I'm very passionate. I love fashion. I love styling. I love all of those things. And if you know me personally, you know that I do. I've been like that since I could remember. So I thought starting a boutique would be the thing. Let's start this boutique. So we went forward and launched the business, got it incorporated, and did all of these things. This is where purpose driven living comes in. After learning, buying stuff, doing all the things, getting a space and moving forward, a few years in, I noticed something started happening to me. I couldn't explain it at that time because I was still learning about purpose. So during that time, I noticed that going into the boutique or picking out items and shopping and doing certain things, I felt like it was a job, like it was a chore, like it was a task. It wasn't fun. But when people would come into the store and they would say, "Well, I'm not good at fashion. I don't really know my style." I noticed that this spark in me just like went off. Like I was so excited. And during that time, I realized, oh, I really love doing this. So I thought I love doing this meant that having a boutique was what I loved. No, 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 no. Let's just fast forward into this about 3, 4 years of doing this. I noticed every time people would say, "Well, I don't know what to do," I would say, "Oh, don't worry about it. I can help you." And I was dreading going to the boutique, but I was excited when someone came in and didn't know what to do. And this leads to purpose. What I loved about that part is I got to do personal shopping. I got to empower them, help them discover their own fashion style. I was able to take them into a place where I was like, let me teach you this, show me that. And I love teaching, empowering, making it simple, giving you direction, helping you to be your best you. And so that's what I was discovering in my purpose. I absolutely opened up a boutique based on passion, but my passion at that moment about fashion was not my purpose. I discovered, exposed, I would like to say, there was exposure to my purpose in a greater way for the mission of my life. And that was to engage with people to help them discover their greater assets, right? What they can actually do to improve their lives. And so in that moment, I was able to show someone how they could style their clothes. I did personal shopping. I was at the happiest place, feeling more fulfilled than if I had went into the boutique and made $2,000 that day. One client going shopping in a purpose-driven mission allowed me to have excitement, joy, and fulfillment. And that's what purpose-driven living looks like. It is getting up and doing what you love to do, not for a paycheck, not because you have to, but because you get to. So purpose-driven living is a beautiful mission in which God has designed for our lives. And that is what you're supposed to be doing every day in optimum living. I heard you asking. I heard you. You said, well, I think I know my purpose. I believe I'm living a purpose driven life. I'm glad you're here. Don't go anywhere. Here, we're going to get into it. I heard you. I heard you. So, we want to talk about how to explore and finding your purpose. There's so many different great books out there. I personally love Dr. Miles Monroe. He talks about purpose. He talks about the purpose of a man. He talks about the purpose of a woman. So I love his book. But I want to just give you some small tips from my experience in a purpose driven life. And so, how do you discover it? First thing I want to say, it starts with self reflection, seeking spiritual guidance, right? So, because we're coming from a faith based Jesus Christ Bible believing faith, we want to make sure that we're also having self reflection and seeking spiritual guidance, meaning praying and doing those small things. Taking time to consider what really brings you joy, not like makes you happy for the moment, but then it fizzles out, right? But joy, like the what I was talking about in my story of the two different experiences where I would have someone come in and shop and I was able to give them their items. They knew what they wanted. That was good. But my real joy and the fulfillment that I felt, the joy of that person saying they didn't know, that's what the purpose looked like. So there's real fulfillment there. I want you to just jot down a few things or activities that you like to do or what you find really gives you genuine joy and you get excited about where someone else may not get excited about it. And there's passion in that, right? There may be different kinds of passion. When you hear passion, someone thinks like, I feel hot, like happy about it, or I feel like excited. But there are also different passions. There are passions where you can feel angry. You can feel there's a moment of injustice, like you're the person who is an advocate. Like, so you have to make sure you understand that that could happen. So here's an action step that I want you to take. I want you just to challenge yourself to spend 30 minutes each day in quiet. That's how self-reflection looks. You just want to spend 30 minutes. You can break it up if you don't have a whole 30 minutes. I know some people's life is really busy. And just meditate. I want you to focus on the passion and the moment, like, how do you feel? Like, go through your day. Like, I was going through and reflecting on, I could do this all day. When I'm doing a mentoring with my mentees, I get so excited. I could do this all day. So when you're reflecting, think about what you could do all day and how you feel and what is that emotion that's ignited. And make sure you write it down. Put it somewhere. If you're a digital person, put it in your digital space where you can find it. If you have a journal, put it in your journal. Remember this in Proverbs 19 and 21, aligning your purpose with God's plan is crucial. Proverbs 19 and 21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. So you and I, listen, many plans we have, okay? We out here with big plans, big ideas, and it's okay to have 101 of them. But Proverbs 19 and 21 simply says, you can have all your plans, you can have all the things, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails, not your purpose. So we want to make sure that you understand that you're being led by Holy Spirit, right? So ask yourself how your talents and your dreams might serve a greater good. That's a question you ask. How does my talents and my dreams serve a greater good? This is supposed to be something that adds value to someone else's life because I know that I'm valuable. So here's an action step. Connect with a community or a group that shares your spiritual values. Engage with conversation about purpose and God's plan for your life. Sometimes hearing other people's journeys really helps to illuminate your own path. So if you're in a space where someone's talking about, yeah, I really feel that I'm being led to do more communication. I feel led to serve the undeserved. I feel like I'm called to the marketplace, right? So when you're in community and you're just there, you're hearing them, it gives you the courage to also share what you're hearing God say. And it illuminates your path because you may not understand, like, oh, wow, that person as well is in a purpose driven. Their mission and what they're talking about could actually give light to yours when you are not sure exactly what it looks like. It could illuminate, like, oh, I see. And when you're in community with people who are purpose driven, it does make a difference. People that are not just trying to get a paycheck, people are just not trying to be out here just doing a job. Nothing in the shame or condemnation for that. But I'm here to talk about optimum living, which helps you to understand that there's fulfillment and meaning here. And that's what we want to go for. So another thing that I want you to do in this action step is, no, excuse me, in this action step is to make sure that you set small, achievable weekly goals that align with your reflections. So remember, we started off saying you're going to reflect. So you want to make sure that you have just small goals. Just set small things that you're doing that align with the reflection. So when you start discovering that you really love A, B, and C, and you have this emotional enjoyment, excitement, and you see it at a high, that's when you want to start doing small things that align with it. It could include learning a new skill, and that supports the purpose driven reflection you're having and the passion. It can also look like participating in a community event or services, volunteering into something, or even starting a creative project that reflects your inner self. And sometimes we call that a passion project. I'm not necessarily going to get paid for this because I don't want to attach money to it. And I say this very simply. I started a blog, which would have been a passion project, because I really had a passion. I felt excited that I wanted to share all of these little nuggets and all of these things that I'm learning. And I wanted to have a platform to put it. And so I started a blog. That was a passion project that was reflecting my inner igniting of passion. So it could be something as simple as that. Those are your action steps, and I want to make sure that you do those, okay? Because it's important. This is how you're discovering your purpose. So I know that we're believers in Christ and we out here serving Jesus, living by faith. But the way he's created us is so beautiful. And I want to give you that there are certain benefits and things that happen in our well-being in our lives when we're living by this pillar of purpose-driven living. So let's talk about the psychological benefits of purpose, which is so important. Research has shown that having a clear sense of purpose can significantly impact your mental health. Yes, y'all. Having a clear sense of purpose significantly impacts your mental health. People with a defined purpose experience less stress. It didn't say you weren't going to have it. You experience less stress, anxiety, and depression. Again, it's not the absence of it, but you experience less of it. This is the psychological benefits. You also look forward to your daily life, right? You're energized by what you have to do and you're motivated to overcome challenges. This is the importance of living a purpose driven life and the benefit. Who doesn't want to wake up and have their mental health improved because you're living from a place of purpose driven? Having less stress and less anxiety and less depression? Come on, y'all. Who doesn't want that? So this means you feel energized. Yes. You may get up, in the morning feeling lethargic or tired because that's just life. But you feel energized and motivated to overcome even the challenges in your life. Purpose gives you resilience. For all the people who don't even know, like, I don't know, some kind of way I made it through, some kind of way I kept pushing through, some kind of way. I want you to know that the some kind of way is attached to your purpose driven mission. I have gotten up and it was that purpose driven, igniting fire inside of me who was like, when my children were younger, you got to get up. You can't stay here. There are 7 beautiful people waiting for you to do what you have to do in your mom zone, in your mom life, right? They have to see resilience in action, right? People that I'm serving need to see resilience in action. So it really is like it's a compass. It just ignites you and keeps you going and helps you to stay steady and focused on what matters, even when turbulence is taking place around you. So that is the psychological benefits, because who don't love some good benefits in life? Purpose in your everyday action. Let's just talk about that. Living with purpose isn't limited to grand achievements. So I don't want you to think about that when you hear the word purpose driven, that we're talking about this big success chart and how you need to achieve all of these things and have all of these awards. It's not about that. It's purpose driven is shining through the small everyday actions. It's the way I get up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I need to touch someone's life. I need to hear who I should encourage. I write on my blog, Just Appetizers, about these pillars because I don't know who's going to read it. And I remember the first time in my small action that I wrote something, not thinking that I was a great writer. I wrote this blog and started writing it. And in that small everyday action of writing and just allowing myself to learn this new skill, I realized when I looked at who was reading the blog, someone in China had read the blog, someone in Africa had read the blog, and I Was so excited. Oh my gosh. I was like a kid who someone's like gave you a smiley face or gave you like that sticker and you came home. You're like, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, I had no idea that in the small significance of me starting a blog, even though I didn't believe I was the best writer, that someone would read it, someone would like it, someone would follow it. And so it's in the small things. Living your purpose is not, in your purpose is not limited to grand achievements. Grand achievements are coming with that, but you can't allow that to be the thing. It's just infused with simple tasks. Everything is intentional. It's like when you're cooking a meal and you're prepping, you have it in your head, these ingredients of things that's going to give you the outcome that's going to be beautiful. It's about the love that comes with mentoring someone, or if you are in the marketplace, how your business serves someone, or if you work for someone, how you show up to do your job, or if you're in ministry, how you laid hands on someone or prayed for them, or maybe you were home and prayed for someone. It's in the love of what you do. And that's the passion. You are touching someone's life and you are bringing meaning when it feels mundane. So I want to just say that it's your daily commitment, the big C. Put that in the chat. I'm committed. Put that in the chat. I'm committed. I'm committed. When you're committed in your purpose, it's that daily thing. It enhances your life. I realized that as time has gone on and I was learning about my mission, just sending a text to someone back then when I was doing ministry in my 20s, it wasn't text messages, it was a call. God laid someone on my heart. I wanted to give them a word of life, encouragement, and I would call them, and that person would be weeping on the phone. They were like, oh my God, you don't even understand. It's those small moments of touching someone else's life and remembering that you're adding value because of the purpose driven. Let's talk about the spiritual dimension of purpose. There's also this beautiful place where you connect with a greater God and his purpose, right? So I'm just one person doing my purpose, but my purpose is connected to the greater purpose that God has designed in the earth, and your purpose and someone else's purpose, and your mom's and your aunts and your pastor and your first lady and the people at your job. Like, we're all have these purposes. And when you're thinking about it, it's so important that you understand the significance of God's purpose and that you are attached to that. You're aligned with that. So the beautiful place of me understanding, hey, when I'm reading my word and I'm growing, it's causing an impact in me to become full in him. I'm working through my own small spaces. And when I'm working through places in my soul that needs to be healed, or I'm not confident enough, or I start learning and I take a class, or I do a YouTube channel thing where I'm like, I learned something new. I love that because it's saying that I am mastering this area in my life to improve in my purpose and how I show up for God and what he wants me to do. I don't want to be in a place where I'm saying, I don't know how to do this, but I'm not taking the initiative to learn and improve myself. And that goes back to the growth mindset that I shared. So let's talk about this other reason why purpose-driven living is important: legacy. Legacy. Finally, when you're doing your purpose, there's legacy. What you commit to passionately today, this makes me emotional, becomes your legacy tomorrow. What you're committing to, that moment where you say to yourself, I don't even understand why I'm doing all this work, because you thinking that it's all about today. It's about tomorrow. It's about someone's life that you're impacting, someone that you're sowing into, the seed that you're depositing because of the greater purpose of God. There is legacy. There is a legacy. I cannot tell you, I'm in a ministry for 35 years, and my husband and I, we pastor, it's going to be 29. There are people who come back and say, like, thank you. And I just be looking at them like, I don't even remember what I said, but I planted a seed, or maybe this was a person that I discipled or I mentored for a season of their life, and they come back and I get so emotional because that is a part of legacy. That is a part of realizing that I was doing something in that day that years later, I didn't realize the tomorrow had come, right? And so it's about creating ripples that will spread far beyond your lifetime. It's how Jesus came and he did purpose, the purpose driven. He had a mission, and his mission is still living thousands of years later, and you and myself and my children, your children, and in your family unit, and the person that you speak to, and on your job, like that's what it looks like. It's so beautiful. So it's about legacy. So whether you're raising a family, or you are building a business, or you're contributing to your community, your purpose-driven actions create a blueprint for future generations to build upon. How beautiful is that? I love that. The purpose-driven mission of someone even creating this mic, right? Now, here we are recording, right? So beautiful. So we've talked about this pillar of purpose-driven living, which is so important in our everyday lives, because when we find ourselves in purpose-driven living for optimum life, our optimum life, we are people who are resilient. We are people who actually could also ignite others to live their purpose. We are connected to a bigger purpose because of God. We are able to have a ripple effect that's happening that impacts the future and generations. So there's so many beautiful things about living from your mission of purpose. And if you're here at the end of this video and you know, like, hey, I am so excited about my life now and I haven't been before, just put in the chat, living on purpose. Like, living on purpose. If you know what it is, that is the beauty of your life right now. The igniting, the passion, the fire that you're feeling, the meaningful. Living on purpose. I'm living on purpose, for His purpose. And I am so grateful that you are doing it as well. Optimum living is what God designed for us. John 10:10, He said that I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And so that's what He wants for you. That's what I want for you. I'm so happy that you've been with me here on the channel as we're sharing about optimum living. We're going to share about faith. Thank you for joining me today. Remember to go ahead and, subscribe, join our little community. It's the OL community, where everyone is living in the space of optimum living, the abundance of what God's called us to do. Go ahead and make sure that you subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Let me know what you heard today. So happy that you've joined us. And remember to watch out, because we have some more good things coming. Don't forget to turn on that, the notification, because sometimes we don't do that. I was guilty for a while, subscribing and not doing it. So make sure you do that as well. And as I close out, my thought to you is this, that you are designed to live an optimum life. I'll see you next time, okay? Bye-bye. Thanks you so much.